Okay, hello top coders. So for this video, I'm going to demo date time picker challenge for the project Serenity. So as part of this challenge, I have added the mentioned library. So I have used the Angular Bootstrap date time picker library. So let me first give you the demo. The application is running on 2004. Looking at the challenges, these changes have been done on the edit challenge page. So as you can see, the start date and end date for these two fields, input fields, I have used the library, date time picker library. Um, when you click on this, you get to select first the month. So let's say I'm selecting the 1st of September at 5 a.m. in the morning. So as you can see, Monday, September 1, 2014 at 5 a.m. in the morning. The time zone I'm in, which I'm running this application in the IST time zone. So as you can see, there is a text displayed after input fields, that is the 7 days ago. This is also part of the requirement mentioned in the uh, challenge description. So as you can see, replace under the input field, use moment.js to show how far in the future or past the two dates are. So this will basically displays that. So similar changes have been done for end date, which basically says in 15 days this challenge is going to end. So this is a September 1 and this is September 13. So when I click on save, these details will be saved, and when clicking on edit, these details will be retrieved back from the Postgres database. And also when you change the any date, let's say I'm changing, setting 4th of September at 6 a.m. in the morning, so automatically this text will also be changed. So this is how the things are working. And there was a couple of issues with this library. The main issue was to open the date time picker, you have to double click on this input field of this icon. But so this is the issue that they have mentioned. So I followed all the issue logs, I followed all the comments, and at the end the creator of this library has given some solution. So in the callback function, we have to define something like we have to close explicitly that box after removing the data toggle drop down option. So I made those changes and successfully it is working properly. So now the date time picker will be opened when on clicking on this, on one clicking of this I input field. So this is how the changes are working. Okay, so let me now walk you through the code changes done for this challenge. So major changes were in the power.json file, where I have included this library in the latest version. In the asset.json file, I have included all those dependencies, the UAD bootstrap, moment.js, and the actual datetimepicker.js file. And the changes was in the challenge app.js file, where I have to include the challenges.css file, because I have made some changes in the challenges.css file to align this text which is getting displayed near the input fields. So this is the class being used. So I have, because of that reason, I have used that CSS in the aggregate asset.css file, which is there on every page. And another change was in the public challenge.js file, I have added the UI.bootstrap.datetime picker as a dependency for this particular module, challenge module. And another change was in the challenges controller, where I have to, okay, let me open that. Okay, this is the challenges controller. So basically first the changes were done when you open any challenge, to fetch the challenge details from the database, and to when you save it, update the changes. So I've done changes into two places. First is update function, scope update. As part of this, in this method, I have added the registration start date and end date from the scope.data.registration start date. So this is the HTML page. So this is the div which is basically opening that drop down or that date picker for this input, and the ng model that is associated with this field is data dot registration start date, and similarly for end date it is data dot submission end date. So these are the ng model I'm supposed to use in the scope method. So in the scope method I'm setting for challenge dot registration start date. I'm getting the data from scope dot data dot registration start date. So this is how I am submitting the I'm saving the data in the database. And when you edit any challenge in the edit detail view, it is basically fetching the data. So before fetching the data I need to convert that into a date object. So this is how I have done it. Just define one scope dot data to a blank hash, and I'm checking if the challenge dot registration start date is present. So it will basically save the registration start date into a scope dot data, and I already have challenge dot registration start date from the database, Postgres database. I'm just converting into a date object, and I'm saving into this scope, which is getting displayed in the view. Similar changes have been done for subscription and date. So before showing into the scope, before saving into the scope, I need to convert into the date object. And these scope moment registration start date and moment subscription end date are basically the test that is getting appeared here. So as you can see, for this span I have used the moment.js. So I have accessed the moment object using the Windows JavaScript object. So this is a from now the function moment.js function I have used, and so this is how the data binding is done. So in the edit the HTML page, this is the main div that is getting displayed when you click on this. So this div is responsible for that. The class now of that div is drop down, and this is the span where this moment registration start date is getting binded from that scope. So where you see this text, so this is span, and the span for this span I have used this class, and the CSS corresponding CSS for this class is present in challenges.css. Okay, now the main problem was on the double click. So date time picker gives you a callback function, date on set time. This is the place where you define your callback, and on this callback the new date that you have selected and the old date which was present in the date field get passed. So I have used the date on set time callback function. So in the challenges.save I have attached that to a scope, and the new date and the old date is getting passed here. So first of all I have to write the logic, because when you select this date, so the corresponding this span text value should also get updated 3 days ago, 2 days ago, in 2 days. So this is how, for this reason I'm doing all those in this callback. So this is the logic responsible for that, and this line of code is basically closing when you open it, and once you are successfully done closing this, when you're done successfully setting up this date, so it basically closes that date time picker, and so this is a line basically doing that work. So this has been taken from the creator of this library. So basically when you click on the when you open this date time picker, so there is an open CSS class which gets applied to this particular div. So if you see there is a drop down. So as you can see, the open is the class that is getting applied to this div. So I just need to remove this open class, CSS class, once I am successfully done with the selecting date. So on time set is a callback function which gets triggered when you have completed selecting the complete date. So on that callback I'm just removing the open. So that's why this functionality is working properly, and after completely selecting the date with the time, it gets closed. So this is the change I have to do to resolve that issue. Yeah, so that is the main thing, the changes. Okay, I think I'm done. Let me check if I missed any other change from the GitHub blog. Yeah, this is the CSS HTML page changes. Yeah. Okay, thank you very much for listening. Thank you.